Welcome to the Pat Sheranian Show. Thank you so much for joining us today. One of my favorite guests is Lawrence Law. We're glad he's here. He's going to try again to help us get straightened out on some of our finances, our credit, our debt, and other things of that nature. I want to thank Kyanie for being our sponsor, one of our sponsors this morning. We're grateful for that. Lawrence's company is also one of our sponsors, and he's going to tell you about his company and what he does, which is great, helping a lot of people get straightened out. We're very happy about that. If you're listening to us on the air, you're on KHQN 1480 AM. We're grateful for you. Thanks for being with us this morning. You can call. I can't answer you on the air, but there's a phone number, 801-362-9552, 362-9552. If you leave a message or a question, I'll return that when I'm off the air. If you're watching us, you're on pat.utahvalleylive.com. We do have a chat room. We'd be happy to chat with you, ask questions, make comments. The technical people will make sure that we see what they are, and we'll try and answer those on the air. We appreciate your being with us this morning also. And I'd like to say just one other thing about Kyanie this morning. If you're an athlete or you're a runner of any kind or a swimmer or climber, if you feel like your energy is always waning by the time you get to the top or the end of wherever you're going, I want to suggest that you take Kyanie. It has changed my life, given me incredible energy. I mean, I'm running all day long, maybe not at the same pace you do, but I am running. And so I would just say, hey, you want a boost of energy? Kyanie is for you. The drink is basically blueberries from the Alaskan tundra. We have a sockeye salmon omega-3, which is absolutely pure and no mercury at all. And we have a product that is one of a kind. It's NitroFX. It triggers your body to create more nitro oxide, which you were making when you were young in your 20s. And if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s, you need a boost to get that jump started. And that's what these products will do for you. You can join as a customer and just take them. And it costs about $130 a month on auto ship. And if you want to be a distributor, about $120 a month for all three products. You get a trundle of information if you're a business builder, and we'll work with you. You're never alone. We surround you with a team no matter where you are in the world. So thank you again, and let's get down to business. Oh, I have one more piece of business. Coming up on November the 5th, Joy Bischoff is going to be giving a seminar locally in Provo, Utah. And basically it's about Nibley and Magna Quartz. And she would like to have an email from you. If you live in the area, would like to come, it's $25. It's in a home in North Provo. But you need to email her so that she can give you the address and how to get there. This is going to be on November the 5th, which is a Saturday. Registration is 8:30 in the morning. Doesn't make any difference if you pay ahead of time or not. It's $25. Seating is limited to about 30. So let her know. The email is understandingnibley, Nibley, @gmail.com. So get hold of her, get yourself a seat. It's going to be great. Children really should be probably 16 or over. They're going to be bored maybe or restless. This stuff gets deep. She's going to take us all over the cosmos. She was on yesterday with me. You know, she loses me about halfway through the meeting or through our conversation on the air. This girl has been studying for years. So make the reservation, understandingnibley at gmail.com. That's a really interesting. Did you see that show by any chance yesterday?
I didn't, but I've read Nibley, and it gets very deep.
It is very deep, very quickly, and she's become an amazing student of his, and is really writing a book about him, if you can imagine.
That's awesome.
And she's really studied, and I was in a meeting with her a couple of weeks ago, and we were out in the universe, and this 2012 coming up is a very important year, very important number, a lot of things going to happen. So she kind of gently warns us about some of the things that we should be doing. I'm going to be there. I don't want to miss it. I've been to all of her seminars because you can't possibly remember all that. She talks too fast to write it all down. So until we can get her book, which comes off the press this week, so it should be available for this event. All right, let's back up a little bit and talk about, you've been on the air with me a couple of weeks now, and let's talk about who you are. And since your company is one of our sponsors, then we also want to talk about Vantage Credit Alliance. Credit repair by attorneys, which is so unusual and so different in this business that Now, let's start with how you met them and how you got all involved in as CEO of this company. Why? Do you
Well,
want to answer
why?
any of those questions?
Sure. Why is because it's so many people need the help. And flat out, I'm a people person. I like to help people, so I got involved in multiple different ventures, real estate investing, things of that nature. And I've actually been doing credit repair for about 17 years now. And
Did you get yours fixed yet? I'm
uh,
just kidding.
well,
That
absolutely.
you have to go there first. If it's taken you 17 years, or no, with somebody with that kind of background, is there anything you haven't seen?
um, no, not really.
Yeah, every kind of story and personality, I'm sure, because people have suffered for many years, and then when they make money, they don't know what to do with it.
That's true.
They do what most of us do. We go get more credit cards, and at our convenience, we pay them off or
Worst
not.
worst thing possible. You
Yeah,
bet.
I know. If I haven't learned anything else, I've learned have only one credit card. Don't care what you're doing, have only one credit card. Okay.
Thank you, Pat. One of the things that I think is very telling is that we have people that come into the office and they think that have the worst credit possible, and I assure them that they're probably not don't have that bad a credit. We can get it fixed very easily. I've seen some pretty tough stuff, especially the last 2, 3 years now that people have invested into real estate and they've had businesses that have gone broke and under and they've crashed terribly. And all those kinds of things we can deal with. It's simply a matter of working with them.
I think you said something really, really important there because really it is about people and personalities and their stress levels and seeking help and being embarrassed and ashamed of what you've gotten yourself into or wish you had or wish you hadn't, whatever it is. And I have known Lawrence quite a long time, and he really is a great person to work with and very, very professionally sympathetic to your cause and what you're trying to do. And you're very gentle about it. I've never heard you ever judge anybody about anything. And that made it very easy for me to send people to you because I thought, you're not going to judge what they've done. You're simply going to look at it and fix it, help them show them how to get out of their mess and get it fixed. And so that has been a pleasure. And so you've been working at this for a few years. How did you get involved in the first place?
Well, first of all, I discovered that there was some negatives on my credit report that shouldn't have been there. So, I looked into, okay, what does this mean? How do I get them off? And discovered that it is very difficult. It's like taking on a second job for pretty much a year or so. And so it just really becomes a major problem for
All the
most
phone
people.
calls, all the letters, all the trying to get things removed that shouldn't be there.
Absolutely. And most people give up right at the very beginning of the process because it is such a hassle. And we
Well,
take
it's
that.
overwhelming because you didn't know. And I remember the first time I pulled a report years ago, and I thought, what is all of this? The addresses where I lived didn't even belong to my children. And I thought, how could that be? And then I had debt that I'd never even heard of the company.
Absolutely.
Never heard. And I thought, how
Sure.
did this get? And it took me almost 5 years to get that straightened out.
Well, some interesting facts. 79% of all credit reports have negative information on them that's not the individuals. I mean, if
79%
it's
people have
horrendous,
that.
isn't it? And 49% up to the
Who
point.
knows where to get into and change all of that? That's something got to be something illegal about that.
Well, it is an interesting fact that the credit bureaus are gathering information and they really don't care where it's coming from or whether it's valid. Um, I mean, basic understanding of this. They say that they verify the information, but if 79% have negative information on them, are they really telling the truth here? Now, that's the thing that well, whether it is or it isn't, what we have to do is get those negatives removed so that your credit scores are up where they need to be.
And that's what your company does.
Absolutely.
And again, because you started and you had to get through the process yourself, which is a very, very difficult thing. And but you did it, and you've helped. How many people do you think you've helped, or companies,
Oh
and or
gosh, tens of thousands,
really?
really. So it's, we really haven't looked at the number, but what we're delighted with is the fact that so many people will refer their friends and family and coworkers to us
Well, sure. That's
because we do get the job done.
the referral is the very best way, absolutely the best way to get a client. So where did you just make this name up, Vantage? I have to know all this stuff. It's important that I know this. So, I ask these questions because I want to know. Vantage Credit Alliance. Sitting around one night at the dinner table and decided that's what it would be,
Pretty much.
just like
Yeah.
that. We seem to all do that. No, nothing, no lightning bolts hit us. We just work through it. How can folks get hold of you that really want to talk to you and visit with you?
Well, we would be delighted for them to give us a call.
Okay.
We do offer a free credit analysis, which then is non-threatening. It's not going to hurt. It's not obligating you to anything. But if you call us at 801-769-9443, you can
Let's
call
do it
us
again. 801
801-769-9443. 9443.
Okay. And if they want to send an email,
Email me at Lawrence, that's Lawrence, at Vantage Credit Alliance.
Vantage. Okay.
Yes.
All right. They should be able to get hold of you. And I understand you've had some people have come to you off of the air,
Oh, absolutely.
which is
Yes.
good. So, and again, we have a chat room at pat.utahvalleylive.com. Send us a note and say hello. We'll be able to see it on the monitor here. So, okay, well, all right. You've been in this a long time. There are 10 top secrets. We've talked about those a little bit. Um, what's the very best strategy? The hottest, bestest, is that a word today?
The bestest?
The
Absolutely.
bestest strategy people can use to repair their credit.
Well,
I keep this light because if we don't, I'll cry. I mean, that's where it's at.
there is a
Pull
solution,
your chair
Pat.
up a little bit. You've moved back away
Have-
from me, and I need you up
I might,
a little bit.
there you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's better. Thanks.
Sure.
Okay, so what's the very best way to what can we do? The strategy to start with. Get hold of you. That's one.
Well, that's one of them. And we will give you a free top 10 credit secrets if you leave a message or an email with us. We'll send that directly out to you right away. And then you can
This
review
sheet
what we're
that's
talking
about the top 10 credit secrets.
Absolutely. We have about 100 of them,
Okay.
but the top 10 that makes the most impact, number one is pay your bills on time. If you have a late, that's an instant 100 to 120 point drop in your credit score, instantly.
I'm here to tell you I have repented. Since I've been doing this show with you, I have repented. I usually wait and I go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 days. It'll arrive maybe in 6 days. Okay, I'll send the check today. And I'm right on the border because I didn't know any better. And of course, sometimes then I have to call and talk them out of the $35 hit. But now I'm watching the due dates and I sit down and I get it all done. And it's about 2 weeks ahead of time. And then I'm through worrying about it.
Perfect. And that's the key right
I was
there.
going to mention that. I'm perfect. I did that perfectly.
You did almost perfect in every
Almost,
way, right?
in every way.
Okay, so 2 weeks early paying your bills is huge in two different things. Number one, making sure that you're never late, and number two, paying down your balance so that your debt to credit limit ratio is now lower, which increases your credit scores. And debt to credit limit ratio is 30% of your credit score. So the combination of those two, paying your bills on time, which is 35% of your credit score.
Increase is 75% of the whole deal.
65, but who's
excuse
counting?
Me, 65. I wrote down 45 up here. Okay.
Okay, and then 30% is debt to credit limit ratio, and that's 65% of your credit score. That's huge.
You're in a mess by then.
Well, if you go over limit on your credit cards, and then don't pay them on time,
then you go get a new credit card.
Give up. No, really. That's when you need to give us a call, and we'll help you with that and restructure it in a way that can get you back on track, get your opportunities back, lower your interest rates and your insurance rates, save you a ton of money.
I think there's also the feeling that this is going to take forever. Why just even try? Because it did. It took me 5 years, and this was years ago. I was young, and I didn't know who to call and who to contact. But it did take about 5 years to get everything off that shouldn't have been there. By then, I paid everything down. They didn't
Who are you
care.
working with, Pat? Because that's not how we
I
work.
was working with a bank, kind of a financial corner of a bank,
Okay.
and they were advising me what to do, and they just drug it out and drug it out, and I kept paying and paying, and I thought, what am I paying for? I'm not even
Mm.
breaking even with what they put me through, but I did finally get everything cleared off of my credit. But it was hard, and so my question is, if someone came in to see you today
Mhm.
and they had, things that did not belong on their credit report, they felt that they certainly didn't live in that house and they didn't have that, they didn't even know what that company was, how long would it take? About, just ballpark.
Well, you need to understand that we're dealing with credit bureaus. We don't own them, so therefore we have to work under their rules and directions. And because they want to keep those negative information on there, they make money doing that. We actually have to fight them to get these items removed. Now we have a 1 year membership, and but we have noticed
To Vantage
to
Credit
Vantage
Alliance.
Credit Alliance.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our service is a 1 year membership. During that time, we average about a 127-point increase in about 4 to 6 months. So now you're talking, instead of 5 years or 7 years for it to fall off, you're talking about less than a year having a huge increase in your credit scores and getting back in the game, really. I mean, it's that simple. And the cost of credit repair is hugely covered by the fact that your interest rates are lowered, your insurance is
Okay.
lowered, the costs go away. And if you can do that, then
And
it
maybe
makes sense.
maybe we should mention that again. Some of the under this first one here, the things, the 5 areas that your company helps with. I know there's a lot more, but you do repair
Mhm.
after all is said and done, and if you keep your contract, with the whole operation that's going on, and you commit to a certain amount every month, and you keep that amount, they lower. Let's say you owe 25,000, they could save you about $7,000
Right.
over a period of about 18 months.
What you're talking about is actually the debt settlement, which is
Okay,
another service that we
okay.
have. It's not related to credit repair service, but it does do credit repair. Of course, you can lower your debts, you can get them paid off. That's going to be huge on your credit score going up.
But still, somebody has to clean all that up.
Exactly. Right. And if you're under, typically what we do is if you have $10,000 of debt, unsecured debt or more, we can work with you and actually cut that in half. There is a fee that goes along with that. But what you're talking about is saving a lot of debt cost over a long period of time and getting back on track with your credit again.
So when you say you could cut that in half, you're talking 5,000. There's a fee, of course, for doing that. Um, but that's not very big. That fee is not very big.
It's really not that big.
And you're getting everything fixed and
But
repaired.
look at the alternative. If you pay
It's
off the
bankruptcy, is what it is for most people.
well, and the challenge with the new bankruptcy laws is that a lot of people don't qualify for bankruptcy anymore.
I just, I didn't, haven't bankrupt, and so I didn't know that until recently because used to you'd have attorneys with signs outside bankruptcy in 15 minutes or whatever, and it cost maybe $400, $500 to get all of it taken care of. It really has gone up that
It's
much.
gone up double or triple. You bet. You
Poor
bet.
people in trouble, and then they're in
Yeah.
trouble in trouble.
See, but one of the things, Pat, is bankruptcy is not for everybody, but debt settlement is not for everybody either. And so we look at the whole picture and determine, okay, this is what we would recommend in our situation for you, but you have to decide which is going to be better for you. Do you have the income, or are you totally upside down that income just doesn't work for you? And so bankruptcy or a debt settlement, both of them impact your credit scores dramatically in lowering them. What we do is we can actually help you in either case get your credit repaired back into the 700s and teach you how to get your credit scores into the 800s.
Have you ever really said to someone, we just can't, you don't have enough money to do this, maybe just go ahead and bankrupt? Have you had to do that a
Quite
few
often.
times? Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. We just flat out say to them, if we put money into our system, it would not help you out. And so
That's
therefore,
really fair. I can
we
think of a
try to be.
situation. I'm glad. I can think of situations where somebody could milk that for a while before they finally said to them, "We can't help you."
Oh,
That
yeah.
that kind of thing goes on. You explained last week. I'm going to ask you to do it again over the difference between a financial company, that financial bank,
Finance company.
finance company. There
Uh-huh.
it is, and what you do.
Well, a finance company is the worst kind of credit that you can have, whether it's through an auto dealership who can finance you through a finance company, a furniture store, or anybody that deals with fast credit, no credit.
So
We
when
can
you
help you
read
out.
that, everybody runs there because they think I'm going to get help, but not
but
true.
the but yes, and it is not true. It does create lots of problems on your credit report because you're dealing with um, actually in that situation it costs about 10% of your credit score if you have a finance company on your credit report.
No
Yes, it does.
way.
Yeah, it does.
Now
It's
that's
very
new. I
costly.
didn't know that.
Yeah, sure.
So it's costly to go to a finance company where they come to you, they get some help.
Well, it's costly in multiple ways, Pat. And number one, your interest rates are always going to be higher, right?
Okay,
Okay.
right.
Then they add on fees and penalties that are way outrageous. Okay. And then you have it on your credit score. And so your credit report, on your credit report, and your credit scores drop, which means that the rest of your interest is going to go up, which is more costly. You lose the opportunity of getting into investments and other, like buying a home or getting a car. So options are eliminated. And how much does that cost you? So altogether, you've got huge loss and costs in money and in opportunities, things of that nature.
I'm speaking with Lawrence Law, who lives in the Utah Provo or the Utah County area, and I want to give you his number again. It's 801-769-9443. Ta-da! You
Thank you.
got it. So 769-9443. Give him a call, and he will be so kind to you. And your fees are not much. Everything is very reasonable that I bumped into with your company for sure. And it gets a burden off of us. I can't tell you the stress that people have felt when they finally get some of their finances straightened out, or at least have one person they can go to. Your neighbor doesn't want to hear it. Your wife certainly doesn't want to hear it. Your kids don't want to hear it. So give Lawrence Law a call at 801-769-9443, and he will help you. Also, I need to mention again that this a couple of sheets with the top 10 credit secrets is free. You could have a free copy. So if you just call and ask for that, you'll be ahead.
Absolutely. Our education is all free. It's silly to charge you for information that will help you and benefit you.
Can people all over the world, literally, at least all over the United States, can you work with them no matter where they are?
Absolutely. You
Okay.
bet.
All right. Well, okay, we've heard a little bit about your company. Now, and I mentioned earlier, let's go through some of these steps of the things that you offer. Um, these first 5 areas of importance in getting this thing. I want to get these straight because if people, after they've done all these things themselves, find they cannot do it, they've got to go to you. They've got to go somewhere.
Well, what you're talking about is the 5 areas where that the credit bureaus use to determine your credit score.
Right.
And of course, the first one is bill payment history. That's 35% of your credit score.
Right there.
And right there, whether you pay your bills on time, it's going to be on your credit report for 7 years, and it can be damaging for that 7 years. Now, it does lessen out over time, but you can imagine if you get a late today and then you get a late in 6 months and you get a late in 12 months, it's going to be continually driving and pulling down your credit score on a regular basis.
Oh, and I think the stress factor of the phone calls too. You get the letters, then you get the phone calls and the phone calls and the phone calls. And after a while, it is the most annoying thing in the world, particularly when they call, what is it, about 6 times a day? And I've had people say I had 12 phone calls. Well, were you sleeping when part of them happened? Because they're computer dialing.
Right.
And so they're set up to dial every 3 hours or something for a period of time. Your company takes that stress away, right?
Well, what you're talking about is a collection company that's
Right.
really coming to harass you and find that that's that debt, that's the collection on your credit report. There's a simple solution to that, and that's just requesting that they stop contacting you by phone. They can contact you by mail and make sure that they have your correct address because you do need to know that information. Hiding your head in the sand does not work. It just doesn't work. And even though you may be in a bad situation, um, that can be corrected by increasing your income or by working out a payment schedule with them, debt solution or debt settlement, or even a bankruptcy if needed. Those are all different solutions that can be done.
I think people are afraid they're going to lose their house, they're going to lose their car, they're going to lose everything in there if they go
Well,
bankruptcy.
if they stick their head in the sand, they
And they
will.
will.
You
They
bet.
will. It's going to happen. So at least ask and find out
Absolutely. Yes.
what can be done for you, and you'll be there, which
We
is a
will be
good thing.
there.
I want to talk a little bit about home businesses because um, the Kyani, KYANI.net, is a home business, and I have been in home businesses as second incomes all the time I was raising children, years and years. And then I tried to retire, and I was aggravating my grandchildren. I mean, so I went back to work. That's what it amounted to. And also, I found it difficult, like everybody else, to live on their Social Security because those of us that were in sales thought we would do that forever and ever and ever. And we could earn commission and whatever it was we were doing, not just sales. So, and you can't. By the time a lot of medical things are taken out of your Social Security check, whether you need any help from any of the Medicare operations that are out there, Humana or anything else, they still going to take the money out. So I got involved in this home-based business about 14 months ago, and within 3 months, I had bumped my income up over $1,200. And then it's grown since then, and that has been very rewarding. Plus, I like the products. You've got something going on that I'm finally understanding. I got involved when Lawrence called and I trusted him and I said, okay, here's my money, hit my bank account for that. And so it has turned out to be really interesting. It's getting more interesting. So let's talk about some home-based businesses and how that can give them enough cash flow to get out of some of the situations that they're in if they're willing to find the right one.
Right. Well, let's talk about what are the problems with home-based
Okay,
business.
let's start there.
Because if we can find solutions to those things, then it makes sense.
Okay,
A
let's do
lot of
it.
people know about home-based business in Utah, and they've heard about multi-level marketing and referral marketing and everything else that goes along with that. And pretty much they put their hands up and say, I'm not interested. When in actuality,
They threaten to hurt you.
they need
Is
to.
the minute you mention it.
Okay.
I've said something to
Uh,
them. I have to tell you about this, and they said network marketing. I say yes. Don't get near me. So
Usually that's because they've had a bad
a
experience
bad
with it.
experience,
Now, what
and
causes the bad experience?
well, a couple of things that I've noticed. First of all, network marketing is work.
Mhm.
It is network marketing, and I think a lot of people. When I started out, I thought, well, I can just do this part time when I want to, and I can make a lot of money. Wrong, you can't. You have to work hard. It's an 8 to 5 job, and if you're going to cut that in half, then you just figure you're not going to make as much money the first 2 years. But if you stay with it for 2 years and you commit to it, so it's hard work, and a lot of people don't want to work that hard, so they don't succeed. Sometimes the products are inferior. Okay, you're talking to an expert here. You're the expert in your field. I know network marketing, and sometimes the comp plan is an old comp plan. It's broken off from another comp plan, and another one and another one. It could be a binary. It could be a matrix. It could be a combination of those, but they're designed for the company to win. One of the reasons I am in Kiani and have joined your company, Home Based Business, is because they've designed the compensation plan to benefit the distributor, to benefit the subscriber in the case of your company. But that is the problem. The other problem is that once the comp plan, maybe it's working a little bit, but you have breakaways. They're breakaways. So you work with people, you brought all these folks in, and they're under your relatives and your kids and everybody and on down the line and your friends. And one day you get a note that basically they're just gone because you reach level 7 or 9. That's not true in either of the companies we're talking about. If I bring you into the Kiani company, you are stuck with me forever and ever and ever, and which is a good thing
It's good
because,
things you're nice.
well, I have mentors above me that work with me with people downline. And when I started out, I didn't know any more about this than somebody that had gone one time to a meeting, and that's where I'd been. Read some things online, got involved in some webinars, but you still need that third person sometimes on a phone call. For instance, I call you, and then call my upline, and then the three of us do some talking, and it always helps to have an extra person. So most people don't have that. Companies aren't set up for that. Ours is. Both of these companies are. And did I mention, let's see, if the people that have gotten into this company, if they just woke up one morning and said, oh, there's a lot of money to be made in network marketing, let's go borrow a lot of money from friends. And some of them do. But this is a business that is constant and it's growing. Network marketing grows very rapidly. And companies that I have actually worked for and been involved with as an officer have simply run out of money. I want to tell you, that's not fun when you've worked with somebody for a year. They've worked hard, they've worked their way into a decent income, certainly a second income that would help pay a car payment, $500, or pay part of a house payment. And then you get a notice that the company is closing. So things that you should do is find out who you're working with. Who are they? How long have they been in business? What have they done before? What have they been successful at? Have they ever had a success in any other business? And if so, was it for 6 months and then they were closed? So who are you working with? Are they ethical? You don't want to work with somebody particularly that has been to jail, even though they may have paid the price. They're probably not good in math. If they weren't in the first place, they haven't learned anything about math in jail. So you want to know who you're working with. You want to know the products are good. You want to know the compensation plan. In the case of Kiani, yours is an entirely different kind of plan, but the Kiani, they bought this plan from a Japanese firm that had worked on it for 7 years to get all the wrinkles out of it, and it pays from the bottom up. It's a completely different kind of product or a compensation plan. What did I miss?
Well, you're doing great here. I wrote them down because we need to
I'm
talk
impressed you're
about.
taking my notes. Good
Well,
deal.
what
This
I'm
is
going to
my
do is
business.
answer the question of all these things
Okay.
because, we do have different plans, and they are entirely different because the program that I'm talking about is not a network marketing company. And a lot of people like to know that simply because they've had bad experience or they know somebody who's had a bad experience. But network marketing, people need to understand that it's made more millionaires than any other
Any other industry
in,
ever.
including real estate, which is a huge industry. But understanding that, there still is 97% who get in and fail. And
Not
that,
in this company, not in Kiani, because I know the facts there. So, but generally speaking, I agree
oh
with you.
yeah, in the industry,
Yeah.
it's a really bad failure rate, and that it shouldn't be that way because everybody should be able to get in and make more money than what they spend. It's a that would be a fair situation. And so the reason that we became involved in a cash flow generation company is because we had so many of our clients who were desperate for additional income,
Right.
and they couldn't do it. They were struggling. It was even a second job. You've got to spend an extra 4 or 3.5 hours every day going to another job at $7 an hour just to make $500 a month. But that doesn't cover the cost of going to and from that job, or the maybe the uniform that you might have to have.
Food that
time
you have
away
to buy away from home in most cases.
Sure, being away from home,
Yep.
just being away after you've had a regular job. Um, Most people aren't willing to do that. It's just too much for them. And so you've got to have something that's going to be easy, simple, doesn't cost a lot of time, money, or effort to make that extra income.
It's true. Agree.
Okay,
You got it right.
I got it right. I know I did. And so that covers one of the first ingredients that you talked about, or the difficulties of home-based
Right.
business, and that's hard work. A lot of people spend a lot of time at building a home-based business, but they don't have the skill level to do what they need to do, and so they bumble along and they spend a lot of time learning about how to do it, and then by then they're out of money, they're out of patience, they're frustrated, and they'll give up. And
It's
so
true. People, I think my son and I decided it's about 3 months. That's about as long as most people stay in, unless they've made some decent money, at least something above $12. You know, and so they begin to think, well, I'm in the wrong place. And sometimes it's the personality. They're just not cut out to approach people.
right.
And sometimes it's the company itself and the way it's structured.
You bet. And that's really very important, because if you can't make more money than you spend in about 4 to 6 months, then why are you in business?
That's right.
Unless you
No, I agree
have
with that. It's
great
really hard.
tenacity and unlimited resources, uh, people give up. They quit.
One thing that in these health products, I have become a little more concerned about customers, people that need the product to do like I did, get
Mhm.
better, feel better, have more energy, get past your diabetes and all the kind of things I had. And so there is the customer who is not going to build a business. They're just going to buy and feel better. And I'm more cautious now who I suggest become distributors, because it's not easy. It's not easy.
Well, let me just say this, Pat. I have been very impressed with Kyani and the products that they have. I have. You actually gave me some testers on some of the products, and I tried it. I tried that Intro FX, and it does work, and I was impressed. You know, normally you drink this juice and you expect, okay, well, you're going to live longer. Prove it. You know, I mean, flat out
He's a
prove it.
tough customer.
I am a tough customer, but and I'm also an herbalist, and so that really is
I didn't
important to
know
me.
that. How could I have known you all this time and I not know that?
Well,
What
you
does that
didn't ask the
mean?
right questions.
Well, I didn't know he's a singer either, and I found that out last week. He's if you need a singer in your funeral, your reception,
In your
church.
funeral. Okay, Pat, we're taking.
And we're getting serious now. Okay. Okay, so you were an herbalist. That's interesting. So yeah, so you know what the basis for a lot of these things.
I
Yeah.
absolutely do, and I've been impressed
Good.
with the quality of the product.
Sign
It's-
here, please.
Yeah. But one of the things is that we're talking about both of these companies here on the air here, and they don't conflict with each other.
Right.
And in fact, the company that I'm talking about, called the II Life, actually can
Let me
advertise
say that again, because the first half a dozen times you said it, I never got the last word.
THE,
I.
and then II for, and that stands for Intelligent Information
Oh,
Life.
I'm glad they just used I. Okay. And so it's I life.
The II Life.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
the I life, because that comes out and you can't quite understand it. So
Well, and
okay.
it becomes a whole way of life, and
Okay.
so that's one of the reasons that we've used that. But the company itself is designed around helping people make more money than they spend without a lot of cost in time, effort, or money, and no risk. Absolutely no risk to this company. You know, every time you get into a business, there's risk. You put time into it, you put money into it, you put effort into it, and if it goes belly up or you quit in 4 months, all that is gone, because what have you gained?
Probably nothing in most cases.
Well, you might have some products
Right.
sitting in the garage, and you're sitting there, and that becomes a burden
I
because
won't let people do that. They only have to buy what they drink that month. So there.
well, and absolutely, and if you are drinking it, you're feeling better, like you and your arthritis and the things that you've mentioned here. Those are so powerful to people because you cannot disprove how somebody is feeling.
That's true.
You just
You
cannot.
can't.
And if
No,
they
you
feel
can't.
better from taking it versus when they don't take it, that's powerful. And that, to me, tells me a lot about your company and about the integrity of your company and why I would even consider looking at it or taking the products.
Good. Okay, so now let's talk from the ground up about the II Life Company
Okay.
and who's behind it. You know, I have to know all of these things, and where did they come from, and where did they get their money, and why are they doing this?
Well, let me ask you a question. First of all,
Wait, I just asked you
you
three.
did, and I'm going to ask you a question to answer your question.
Okay.
But what do you know about social media today?
Well, quite a bit. It's out there,
Uh,
and
and
we're all part of it.
and we're all part of it,
Yeah,
and getting more and more part of it. It becomes part of your life.
it does.
And whether Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, Plaxo, I mean, there's hundreds of them now,
Yeah.
all trying to start out and get up there. But the big ones are Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and some of these ones that a lot of people will recognize the name. And they say, well, if you're going to have a home-based business, then you better get out there and have a presence in social media. And everybody looks
Yeah.
at each other and they scratch their head and they say, hey, well, how do I do that? Oh, well,
I'm going to hire a 9-year-old to drink this and put it on Twitter while he's dancing, and then somebody that's 94. So, but that's, you know, it takes time and it's expensive. So how can we do it?
and it takes time and it's expensive, and most people do not know how to
Oh,
do
they
it.
don't. No.
They just scratch their head and they try and do something and nothing happens. I spent last year $10,000 with a search engine optimization and social media marketing expert and got nothing for it. No context whatsoever. And it was a
I
total
won't
waste.
ask names, but that's too bad,
Well, it
really.
is. And so having the right people in the right situation becomes huge. And that's what the II Life is. They have taken social media, and because they are experts at it, can go in and put a video on YouTube and have 1 million people watching it in about 2 to 3 days.
No.
Absolutely. With our advertising on it, which means that we're going to have traffic like nobody else has, because it works. It works every time. They have proprietary software technology that goes out and researches and finds the proprietary, or excuse me, the videos that are going to go viral. And then they take those videos and put an advertisement on it that appeals to the social media people. You know, that's a whole different avenue.
That's a whole different
It's a
ball
whole
game.
different
Yeah, it
world out
is.
there.
It
And
is.
once you appeal to those types of people, then they will look at it, they will go to the website, they will see what the company is all about, and they will want to participate.
Okay, there are two steps in here that I'm really still learning about. They do a lot of advertising. This brings in leads, of
A
course.
million dollars worth of
Yeah.
advertising every month is what the
Okay.
company's doing.
Well, that ought to be bringing in leads for sure. But then I can also take these Kyani products, pay a little extra, and they market those for me.
Right, on our websites, because we have such good traffic, people are going to be looking at the website, and the little advertisements that are on the website, they're going to take a look at and be impressed by them.
We talked about that before, and now I'm ready to do it. So what do I do?
You're a
Let's
member,
start with the first. When I become a subscriber,
right?
because I have been now for 6 months or more, a subscriber, and I get emails, so
Mhm.
you know I'm there, and I feel good about that, and some notices and meetings and so forth. But and to pay for that really costs a whole lot of money. It was $25. I haven't bumped into anything in years that was only $25 for
We call
goodness
that
sake.
low cost.
Low cost. I mean, $25, and I said, and what else? When he said $25, I said, what else? Where's the joke here? Nope, only costs you $25 a month, and the return could be.
Well, let's talk about that because that's really unique here.
It is.
It's no risk. And the reason it's no risk is because every 2 months of a paid subscription, you get back a $50 US savings bond. Uh, Now, every two
I'm not
months,
going to ask how because I want to. I don't want to know how. Just send me the bond.
so every 2 months you pay $25, which means you're paying $50 by the second month.
Okay.
And then you're sent back to you a $50 US savings bond.
Okay.
So it's a very way to encourage savings plan for you and your family. But also you have a no risk situation, very low cost, no risk. You got a savings program going on, and now we can start talking about the company building your business for you. Where have you heard that before?
Never.
Exactly.
Never. That was one of the things I was really interested in. Well, one is the bond because my money's safe, and I know that. And but the second thing, I haven't really I haven't done anything with this. I just joined, and I'm going to get a check, and at the end of the year, I'm going to get more money.
Well,
Was that
it's
simple enough?
it is a simple program. That's the fun thing about it. I love to talk to people who have been in home-based business and failed, because they'll look at me and they'll say, "Well, what do I have to do?" Well, to begin with, absolutely nothing.
That's right.
And the company will build your business up to $152 a month, doing absolutely nothing but participating in the program. Now, the program, of course, the product is a intelligent information called the II book. It's information that you need to know about, but you don't. Things like credit education.
Okay.
Okay,
How
it's
do you know I don't know about it?
if you know about how to deal with your credit in a way
Okay.
that will increase your credit scores. But who tells you out there? You can do a Google search and get what? 3.5 million pages of information on credit repair. You try it.
I don't want to know. I'll take your word for it.
3.5 million
Okay.
pages of information, and then you only look at the top 10, which is on that first
Right.
page, and you click on the first one. You have no idea whether they are the best, whether it's the information that you want, whether they're legal, ethical, moral, whether it's something you should quickly close your eyes because you
Don't
don't
want to
want to
know.
see it. But you know
It's
nothing except for the fact that they have paid the most money or the most time to get on that
to get
first
on that
page.
first page. So are you telling me then that this company
Filters the
okay,
information.
filters all the information that we
Absolutely.
receive and that we can receive information about almost anything that's out
And you
there?
will get the best of the best. Absolutely.
Who did that?
The
Who
II life.
who did who did all that work? And where did the money
Oh,
come to support
Pat,
that?
this is an ongoing project that will never end,
I can
simply
see that.
because information is constantly being created, and new businesses are being created. And we also evaluate businesses and find the best of the best.
But didn't you have a million gazillionaire somebody start or work with you in this company or
A billionaire,
billionaire?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And he does our advertising for us because he is so good at what he does that he is already in 192 countries for us.
You haven't been up but about 6 months, have you?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
it's
we
hard
are
to get in a country with anything.
correct.
I know that from working so many years in network marketing.
Well, consider this. You've got a product like Kiani, which is a very good product, but getting that into other countries is very
Very
difficult.
difficult,
You've got
extremely
the
difficult.
licensing, you've got the import fees and duties, you've got their EPA programs and everything else that has to do with that. Whereas information instantly goes everywhere in the world. There's no blockage, there's no borders. And so we actually call this a business without borders, because you will find in your business, as the company grows your business, you will find people from all around the world down within your business team.
Well, let's say that I'm a homemaker and I'm home with children all day and I'm not interested in building a business, but I like the idea of having money secured and kind of working for me. And so I know this, if I get involved as a subscriber to this to the II Life, and then I go find 5 people to get involved at $25 each, I can stop right there, and my money begins working for me, and theirs too.
Well, it's even simpler than that, because if you do absolutely nothing and make $152, you could retire right there and quit and not do anything else. It's only the
Wait,
people
$152
a month.
a month. Okay,
Correct.
okay, okay.
Okay.
And you just stop and say, okay, that's my payment, I don't need to go any further.
For a $25 investment, that's huge.
That's not bad. And I went and found 5 people, or did I even have to find 5
You
people?
didn't have to find anybody. That's the comp plan that we have.
That's
Absolutely.
right. I've forgotten about that. Okay,
So
good.
absolutely nothing. First of all, it's $25 a month, but every 2 months you get a $50 US savings bond. You can
Right.
sit back and do absolutely nothing, and the company will grow your business up to $152 a month. Now, it might take a little bit of time because the company's doing all the work, okay? But if you're making $152 a month for doing absolutely nothing, would you not want to know
Did you go
more?
find 5 more people who
Could you
find
share
5
this with
people?
5 people, one at
Yeah,
a time? If you
yeah.
shared it with one, that would go up to $715 a month. Just one.
I don't think you ever told me those
The power
numbers.
of this is absolutely incredible,
Okay,
and
I
people
want a
don't
phone call.
understand
My
it.
number's 801-362-9552. Forget his. 801-362-9552. Let's get in business together for $25 a month.
The beautiful thing about this whole program is
I'm
this.
running right down the street, right down University Avenue, and gathering people.
When you build a business through the II Life, because it takes so little effort and so little money, you then have the opportunity to go build any kind of business that you want to. And jumping into a company like Kyani would be absolutely perfect, because then you're helping your health. You have the money to pay for the products, and it's a no-brainer because you have more money than what you spent.
You know what? This is an answer for a young man that called me this morning from Tennessee. If you're listening and watching, he needs your $25, because that's the way to make this work with the Kyani, because in a few months then he could get into this.
Absolutely.
That's a great idea.
Oh, it's a beautiful plan. I
Okay,
love it.
let's give your phone number again
It's
so they can call you. Go ahead.
it's 801-769-9443.
769-9443. I'm talking to Lawrence Law. He owns Vantage Credit Alliance. He's the CEO there. He is an officer with the company, the II Life, Life. Ask him any of the questions about any and all of this that you would like to. And I know him well enough to know he will answer you, and he will give you a sincere answer, not always with my foolishness around, and so you can go from there. And my number to call about the Kyani or to get involved for $25 and work with me is 801-362-9552. Are we competing? No, we're on the same team.
We are on the same
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
And you know, the fun thing about this is there's so many people out there who are struggling for an extra income and don't know where to turn. Really, it's confusing out there. You hear about all of these different companies, and you absolutely don't know what to do. Understand that if you get involved in the II Life, you've got 10 days to get out. But what have you lost, even if you were in for 4 months?
Well, you got up to 700 and some dollars there, and that's just very quickly with one person. So what if I really did have 5 people under me by the end of the year? Anybody, I'm sure you have run the numbers on those.
Well, absolutely. The potential there, if you had 5 people, would max out the marketing plan, but that's $25,393 a month. That scares a lot of people.
Wow, and it sounds too good to be true.
It does sound
And
too
one
good
thing
to
I
be
won't
true.
do on the air is tell somebody something I don't believe in. So I do believe in you. I'm new to the company.
Let's imagine this, though. Okay, we have an internet going to 192 countries, marketed with $1 million worth of advertising, millions of people through social media marketing, and the company has built a system that is designed to do the work for you rather than require you to do all the work. Now, is it too good to be true?
I don't think I've ever been involved in something I didn't have to work at. And
Well, you do have to work. There's no free lunch,
what am I doing?
but the company is giving you such a boost to build that
Okay.
business for you. Okay, now, if you have a savings bond coming in every 2 months, it costs us only $25 a month. There's absolutely no risk to this. And the company is helping you build your business with millions of dollars worth of advertising and social media marketing. do you think that you would have the credibility to share this with anybody?
Absolutely.
And that is the
Absolutely.
basic
So that's
fundamental
the work. Is
problem.
that the work we're talking about?
That's the
I
work.
can do that. Can we do that?
Well, if
We
you
can
have
do
all
that.
this credibility going for you on your side, can you share it with anybody?
Yes.
Absolutely. Hey, you'd wave out in the street.
Yeah.
Hey, stop a cars and say,
That's
look
what
at this. It works.
I'll take a microphone and go stand in the middle of Center Street and University Avenue in Provo, which is the county seat, for goodness sakes. And if you see me out there, sign up. Every time we talk about this, I get a little bit better picture because I really have thought this is too good to be true. And nobody's calling me, nobody's harassing me, nobody's telling me I've got to have all this training. I have to store, I have to, deliver. I don't have to do anything. Just get on the phone or talk to the people I already know.
Well, we have a motto, and that's finally something that makes sense.
Wow.
It's that simple. And the beauty of it is we have harnessed the internet and the advertising capabilities, the social media marketing, harnessed all of that together in a way where you don't know how to do that. You don't have the resources to do that.
I don't have the resources. I understand the process. I just don't have the resources.
Well, even marketing or even advertising, you never know until you know that it's going to work or not.
It's going to work, yeah.
Because
and it costs a
everything,
lot of money to find out.
Absolutely,
Either way.
lots of research. But here we have absolutely guaranteed that it will work. And that's the pure joy of this, is being able to share this with clients who look at me and say, I'm trusting you with my money, I'm trusting you with my finances, I'm trusting you with my financial future. Don't steer me wrong. And that plays a huge, has a huge impact on us and the integrity that we offer to our clients.
Well, and I understand that because the county company guarantees 100%. If you don't like the products in 30 days, they haven't worked for you, you're a customer. They put your money back on the credit card. You send the bodies, actually the other way around. You send the bottles back to the company. They credit your credit card just like that. They 100% guarantee. I don't know too many companies that do what your company does or what my company does. And to have those two to talk about and I think I've got the best of all worlds.
I think we finally hit on some real winners, and it's taken a long time. See, what you don't know is I've been in network marketing since I was 18. I know the industry. I absolutely know the industry, and quit it 15 years ago. Just couldn't ethically deal with marketing companies that built up the 3% and made them millionaires, and the 97% failed.
Yep.
To me, I just
Very
couldn't do it
difficult.
anymore. And until I found the II Life, and of course Kyani, which is another great company, I couldn't deal with it. I could not ethically tell people to get into a company without.
I have been CEO of companies. I picked up my purse and my plant and left because of ethics. It becomes a real
It's
thing
huge.
to me. If
Yeah.
you're not telling the truth about what you've got me involved in, I'm gone. I won't be there.
Gosh, I need to check these off, the ones that we've talked about now.
Okay, and then we've got just a couple of minutes left, and I'm going to insert here just really quickly your phone number again, if you'd like to give that again. Lawrence Law is the CEO of Vantage Credit Alliance, credit repair by attorneys, and I'll let you give the phone number.
It's 801-769-9443.
Give it again.
801-769-9443.
Give him a call and let him know and where you are, and he'll find a solution for you. If you're interested in the II Life, and why in the world wouldn't you be? For goodness sakes, call and talk about that. I also want to mention Joy Bischoff, who was on with me yesterday. She's having a seminar on a Saturday coming up on November 5th. Registration's at 8:30. It's going to be held in the Provo area, just off of North University Avenue in Provo. Again, $25 per person. It's limited to about 30 to 40 people seating. It is in a home. So if you want to go and be there, you need to send her a note at understandingnibley@gmail.com. And that's what she's going to be talking about. Understanding Nibley. She also is going to talk a little bit about Magna Quartz and how all of this fits together. And she's going to take us right out in the universe and the cosmos. You will find her amazingly wonderful. It's going to go till about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Bring a sack lunch, or you can, we're going to send out for food. So Plan on it. It's understandingnibley@gmail.com, $25 a person, November 5th. I think she's going to be on with me one more time next week, and we'll talk about it again then. She's spinning off her own program. She's going to be doing her own show on both of these channels on KHQN 1480 AM and also on pat.utahvalleylive.com. I think from 5 to 6 in the afternoon is the time that we're looking at right now. So that's kind of exciting. Kyanie, appreciate Kyanie. Boy, good energy, no more diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or any of those things. I'm just fit to run every day. I swim every day. I run in the pool. I'm really big jogging in the pool. And I appreciate so much your being with us. I'm glad to know more and more. I appreciate what you're doing with credit and helping people. But the II life is very, very intriguing. And I think probably we're going to bring that up again because I want to know when the money really starts rolling so I can haunt my mailbox. Have some fun there. Lawrence, thank you for being with me. It's always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you, Pat.
I want to thank Kent Borkink and others that are involved with Utah Valley Live. They're the folks that keep us on the air, both the radio station and on chat.utahvalleylive.